It's literally raining EVs at the moment, and this thing, the Mercedes EQB, has just joined the deluge. So how does this luxury electric family wagon measure up? Let's find out. As Mercedes seeks to offer EV versions of every model it sells over the coming years, the EQB is essentially a battery electric version of the popular and practical GLB. The mid-size electric SUV starts at just under $88,000 for the single-motor EQB 250, but we're testing the sportier twin-motor EQB 350, which is predicted to be the most popular choice with Aussie buyers, despite its almost $107,000 price tag. This is chiefly because the up-spec all-wheel drive model gets a lot more fruit and more power, but slightly less range. Powered by two electric motors, this EQB 350 generates an impressive amount of mumbo, enough to accelerate it from 0 to 100 in a respectable 6.2 seconds. Battery range is so-so at 360 kilometers, and the twin electric motors drive all four wheels via a fixed ratio or single-speed transmission. It packs a 66.5 kilowatt-hour battery, has a single Type 2 CCS charge port, and according to Benz, it'll take 24 hours to charge on a regular power point. That drops to 6.5 hours if you charge it using an 11 kilowatt wall box, or around half an hour using a 100 kilowatt fast charger. Unlike some rivals, such as the Kia EV6 with its 350 kilowatt charging limit, this German SUV maxes out at 100 kilowatts. You also get a ChargeFox subscription for several years, which means you can use their public fast chargers to charge your vehicle rather rapidly. The Mercedes EQB looks a lot like the GLB, only with way more LED finery. Both the front and rear feature full-width light bars, fibre optic at the front, but other than that, it's a familiar and conservatively designed SUV, albeit with a refreshingly boxy profile. You also get roof rails. But because it's based on the same MFA2 platform architecture used by its GLB sister model, it was purpose-built for combustion engine vehicles and not EVs, so you don't get any frunk storage. The cabin is really nicely presented, and there's plenty of adjustability in the seats, but the seats are not power operated. If you want that, you're going to have to pay extra, and adjusting that backrest with the dial, it's just annoying. For a car that costs between 90 and 110 grand, this is a bit disappointing. In its defense though, it does have excellent headroom thanks to this tall body design. Overall fit and finish in the cabin is very good. Material quality is impressive, the dials, buttons and controls, they all feel great, except for the stalks. Like most Benz models, they're flimsy and feel a bit cheap, and it kind of detracts from the overall luxury experience you want to get in the interior. But the twin 10-inch high-definition digital screens that dominate the dashboard, they look great, and they offer up a veritable cornucopia of customization. The menu systems are fairly easy to navigate, but the user experience isn't quite as seamless as some rivals. But at the end of the day, most customers are just going to plug in Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I really don't like the fact you've got this cheap plastic gear shifter as well, the column mounted gear shifter, but it does open up a lot of room down here. And you've got these really elegant storage cubbies which look and feel great. The touch-sensitive steering wheel controls take some getting used to, and there's also 3 USB ports and a wireless phone charger. There's plenty of legroom and headroom for a 6-foot-tall human being in the back here, but because there's a battery located under the floor, your knees sit a little higher. It's not a deal breaker, but it is noticeable. Other features include reading lights, holy shit handles, twin air vents, a USB-C port, and the ever-trusty fold-out armrest with the world's craziest cup holders. I mean, this is like something out of a Salvador Dali painting. What's going on? I love it. Unlike the EQB 250, which has the 7-seat layout as an option for about 3 grand, the EQB 350 is only a 5-seater, but you do get this big boot which expands to up to 1.8 meters in length. All right, enough dilly-dally. Let's cue the driving music. Well, it's very quiet, but also very speedy. Mash the throttle, and that instant torque delivered at any speed propels the vehicle forward with, well, not quite AMG-like pace, but it's quick. We timed it at about 6.5 seconds from 0 to 100. And, you know, a lot of people are not into EVs. There's a lot of pushback, but it's remarkably drivable and a lot of fun too. Indeed, acceleration is strong and sustained, even at higher speeds. It feels confident and composed at triple-digit velocities, and it has a maximum speed of 160 kilometers an hour. And I've got to say, overtaking is a breeze, as the force of those twin electric motors does not peter out beyond 100 kilometers an hour. All EQB models sold in Australia are fitted as standard with adaptive dampers, and there are two modes, Comfort and Sport. The Sport mode almost feels a little bit too firm at times, and it's not really that engaging to drive like, again, an AMG model. But it is super relaxing to drive when you pop the suspension into Comfort mode. So quiet and seamless, and certainly doesn't feel 300 kilos heavier than a GLB. It's a good open road cruiser, quiet and composed, but where it does its best and most efficient work is around town and in the suburbs. Mercedes reckons you'll get around 360 kilometers per charge, and it's a bit hard to pinpoint real-world range on a tightly regimented launch drive like this, so we'll need to do more testing to get a better gauge. But as it stands, I reckon you'll get around 330, 340, maybe 350 kilometers per charge when driven normally. By today's standards, that's not great mileage, but if you're clever and you drive really slowly, you might get a little bit higher range than that. While the Mercedes-Benz EQB does not have the range of, say, a Tesla Model Y, it does have a very practical cabin and the option of 7 seats, albeit only in the base 250 form. The EQB 350 is a handsomely equipped vehicle with plenty of polish and performance, and while it's not the cheapest electric SUV in its class, it still represents reasonable value. And the EQB is unique in the market with a 7-seat option.